I think this is not only obviously the biggest fight of Terence Crawford's career, but in a career that's filled with almost nothing but huge fights, this is the biggest fight of Canelo Alvarez's career.
A lot stronger, and I think he's going to have better endurance. Not being able to boil himself down like that, and even though it is a huge jump, I think we lose sight of the fact of how much he had to boil down and how gaunt he looked at 140.
You said you don't think, or you don't look into the weight difference. Why?
Well, you know how to box. When you're as skillful as Terence Crawford is, weight don't really matter much.
In the build-up to the highly anticipated clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, Max Kellerman has shared his final thoughts on the matchup. Joining Netflix's elite broadcast team for this mega boxing event, Kellerman delivers his trademark sharp analysis and deep historical insight, framing what many believe could be one of the most significant.
A great chin. But in terms of, if you want to go skill for skill, especially the recent version of Canelo, who's had to turn into a seek and destroy guy, who had to learn as his career went on to cut off the ring and not just follow guys around. Like Lara, Trout, Floyd, he followed those guys around. He had trouble because he's really a natural counterpuncher who wants you to come to him. But in recent years at super middleweight, he's gotten really good at cutting off the ring. Again, last fight notwithstanding. So as an overall suite of skills, recent vintage, it's been Crawford. Mm-hmm. But Canelo also is skilled and has a larger skeleton than Crawford. No matter what they weigh, Canelo's the bigger guy.
Yeah. Kellerman isn't mincing words, declaring the Canelo Alvarez vs. Terence Crawford showdown the most-watched championship fight in nearly half a century. He draws a bold comparison to the legendary Muhammad Ali-Leon Spinks rematch of 1978, which captivated an audience of 90 million viewers. With Netflix at the helm of the broadcast, Kellerman stresses that this isn't just another blockbuster fight, it marks a transformative moment for boxing's global reach and business.
But where would you rank this fight out of your top 3 to 5 of all the boxing fights you've called, you've experienced, you've watched?
In terms of the magnitude of the fight?
Yeah, the magnitude, yeah.
I mean, of the fights that I've called ringside, it might turn out to be number 1. I've done Pacquiao fights, I've done Mayweather fights, I've done Anthony Joshua against Klitschko, those are big fights, but listen, because of Netflix, this will be the most watched fight, championship fight, in almost 50 years. This is gonna be because Muhammad Ali fought Leon Spinks in the rematch in '78, and they did 90 million TV sets. 90 million. And since then, what has even come close? The biggest fights have all been on pay-per-view, and they do 2 million buys. Oh my God, 4 million buys, Mayweather Pacquiao. As I keep saying, if 5 people per TV set watch, that's 20 million people. This is gonna do multiples of that. So when you look at it from a commercial point of view, it'll easily be the biggest boxing event I've ever covered.
At a recent press conference, fight promoter Dana White confirmed that Max Kellerman will be returning to the broadcast booth as part of Netflix's official commentary team for the highly anticipated Canelo Alvarez vs. Terence Crawford super fight on September 13, 2025. The veteran analyst, widely respected for his previous work with ESPN and HBO, will join play-by-play announcer John Onek and Hall of Fame boxer Andre Ward to call the action live from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Calling the event the perfect storm, Kellerman expressed his excitement about returning to televised boxing. He praised both fighters as 2 of the greatest pound-for-pound boxers of their generation, stating that while Canelo held the crown for many years, Crawford now has his vote as the current number 1. Emphasizing the rarity of such a matchup, Kellerman noted that in the history of the sport, only 25 to 30 fighters have ever truly been considered the best pound-for-pound. And both Alvarez and Crawford now firmly belong in that elite group.
I want to bring up the first member of our broadcast team. He is the best boxing analyst in the sport. Ladies and gentlemen, Max Kellerman.
All right, so I know you guys are excited about this fight, but I don't think you understand what a big deal it is. This is a perfect storm, a perfect storm. First of all, Turki Al-Sheikh, we're lucky he happens to be a boxing fan. None of this happens if he doesn't happen to be a boxing fan. It's just none of us are here. Nick Khan, the best in the business. Dana White. Dana White is the greatest combat sports promoter of my lifetime. And it's his first ever boxing promotion. So that's who's behind what you're going to see. You know who's the best pound for pound fighter in the world? The most recent one. Bud Crawford. Apologies to the monster and Usyk. Bud Crawford has my vote for best pound for pound. Who was the best pound for pound before Bud? Canelo Alvarez, universally recognized that way. But it's not just these two guys, the last two best pound for pound fighters in the world. There haven't been that many. Before Canelo, who do you have? Before Canelo, Floyd or Andre Ward, Floyd Mayweather. Before, you could take the lineage back. There have only been, 25 or 30 fighters who ever lived who you said that's the best pound for pound fighter in the world. These are two of them, the last two. And they're going to fight in Las Vegas on September 13th. Canelo is 62-2 with 2 draws, 62-2-2. So was Marvin Hagler when Sugar Ray Leonard moved up to fight him and they produced one of the biggest spectacles in the history of boxing. This fight is a perfect storm. I could not be more excited to be a part of it.
WBC lightweight champion Shakur Stevenson remains firm in his belief that Terence "Bud" Crawford will not only defeat Canelo Alvarez but could even stop him. He has consistently highlighted Crawford's elite tools, his speed, ring IQ, and southpaw stance, as key advantages that set him apart. Stevenson has gone so far as to say Crawford will cook Canelo, suggesting the fight could turn into a one-sided showcase. Having first made this prediction back in 2021, Stevenson has only grown more confident over time, insisting that Crawford's precision and adaptability make him not just a worthy challenger, but
his punching power as well. In the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm, understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. It takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it. Canelo, although he is a prolific counterpuncher, fantastic counterpuncher, he tends to find his spots a lot quicker. And the indication of that is if you look at any of the boxers that Canelo has faced, Trout, even Danny Jacobs, even when he fought against Charlo, you just check out the first round. He usually takes off, just feels the power, cruises, see what these guys know, a couple of feints, level changes, gathering information, right? Crawford does the same and similar things. So I think the first round's going to be a real calm and cautious round by both fighters. But in the second round, Canelo's going to start applying that pressure, man. Pre-engagement with Crawford is a little bit more difficult than a Charlo, okay? Let me explain this. So pre-engagement is the movements before you get into that sweet spot, which is mid-range, to be able to let your hands go, right? Both guys are trying to counter each other's movement. Both guys are looking at each other's, hands, trying to anticipate what they believe is going to come next. During those periods right there, Crawford is one of the best at it, okay? Because he's smart, he's cerebral. Like a fighter to a fighter, we can feel when another fighter is like, oh, he's on my rhythm.